Hey, it's Adrienne Klein from Missouri, Florida Homes here in Central Florida. And I am humbled to have Steve Rosenberg, who's got 30 plus years of commercial international airline pilot, real estate extraordinaire, serial investor, coach, international entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. But I'm really humbled. And what brought us together today is NARPM, the National Association of Residential Property Managers. And I think it's really important to talk about it. Why? First of all, Steve is going to be the keynote speaker at this Prime Summit in Orlando next Thursday, April 27th. 2022, right here in Central Florida in Orlando. So welcome. Sorry about that October thing. Welcome to Florida.
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing everyone. A lot of great people at NARPM. I've got a long history with them from when I owned my company here in Houston, Texas. So very familiar with them, and they've given back to me so much. So I'm glad I can give back some of the learnings that I've learned along the years and help out other fellow property management companies, real estate people, vendors, contractors, all the above, and try to give back as much as possible.
So how has NARPM transformed your life? What I mean, you came into the industry as what an investor after flying for a few decades internationally. You've got your systems in place and you're ready to go. So did you start investing yourself? Were you a licensed real estate broker? If you can just give us a little background on who our keynote speaker is for those that don't know how important you are yet.
Well, I appreciate that. So the way I started was maybe a little different than, maybe it wasn't, I don't know. I had a regular career as an airline pilot, and there's certain time frame in my life that caused me to change that direction. And at the event, I'll go into more detail and explain what that is. But I had to make some serious decisions in my life, and those decisions were financially driven to survive. And I started investing in real estate. I started learning all that I could. And after buying real estate and making all of my trials and tribulations like most investors do, I ended up meeting my then friend, business partner, Pete Newbig. He and I built, created, and scaled our company in Texas called Empire Industries. And along the way, we found NARPM very, very early on, like maybe on year one. And I will honestly say that had we not had the people, the structure, and really the friendships that we made at NARPM, I don't think we would have scaled to the size that we did. I mean, we really embraced it. Pete Newbig, still, we're very good friends. We've since sold that company, but we really embraced NARPM. Pete was he was the Houston chapter president. Then he became the regional vice president. He was on track to possibly be president, and then we ended up selling the business. But we just learned a lot about structure, the rules, the laws, the regulations, and again, how to have the best ethical practices. And NARPM really did a good job of that. And I was always so impressed by how they kept the ethical standard of operators in line, in check, and also encouraged the growth and cross-pollinated a lot of us, because I met people from all over the country. I've been fortunate enough to speak at many of the NARPM events and chapter events, and I can say that I've made lifetime friends because of that. So it's not just a business standpoint, but it's a professional, personal standpoint, I would say I've made as well. Along with all the contractors and vendors, I know a lot of them, and they are the spinal cord, I believe, of NARPM to keep all of us going. And just like at this event, we've got a lot of great contractors and vendors and people. I think it's going to be great to, number one, see everyone after everyone being locked up for 2 years.
COVID, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
I just
want to ask you, with you and your partner. So you joined forces. You own some properties. We're property managers. We're owners. We're operators. What from early on? What is something that still sticks in your mind today, so many years later, that was a takeaway for you that pivoted or started to pivot your empire, no pun intended? What was it that you took away, that you learned from NARPM that you weren't aware of beforehand?
I would say how regulated the industry is and how ever changing it is. And to sit and think that one law or rule is prevalent in one sector of town. We started expanding into multiple markets, so we had to learn. And so the biggest thing I realized was, number one, the first thing I learned is all the laws, rules, and regulations, because as an investor, I didn't know that in the property management sector. And number two, honestly, the biggest thing, and this is probably the biggest takeaway that I got, is we're not in competition with any other property management company, even at a local, micro local level. We were actually friends with all of our fellow, competitors of property management, because we didn't look at them as competitors. It's such a blue ocean out there and such a vast amount that to have that scarcity mindset as opposed to an abundance. We were very, very good friends, and still to this day we are, even after selling our company. And I coach some of them actually locally as well as nationally. But I've just learned that competition, that word competition, is taken to an nth degree of scarcity. And it's not needed. It's not necessary. It's not good for business. It's not good for your mindset. And most importantly, it's not good for your checkbook or your bank account.
Right. So it's a really good point. So I'm a real estate broker owner. So for me, it's my job just by default as being a licensee in the state of Florida that I have to know, or I should know, ordinances, Florida statutes. You're an investor that turned into a property manager, owner, operator. I mean, wow. I mean, I can't even imagine the trials and tribulations that, you went through at the beginning. And it sounds like because you connected with NARPM within that, critical first year of your business, that it kind of put you on the right track of how to operate.
It did. There were probably, I would say, two major parallels in our life cycle. I believe if you asked Pete, he would probably agree. Number one was NARPM, and number two is that we hired a business coach from day one. And we stuck with both NARPM and our business coach for the 7 years that we exponentially grew and exploded our company. And I would say that, yes, the rules, the laws, the regulations, all the things to be an operator were vital. But if we didn't understand how to actually grow a business as business owners, we wouldn't have made it past year one, because we didn't understand how businesses operated. And we didn't understand, and I think that's one of a big challenge, not in just NARPM or property management, in any industry, because I coach a lot of different industries across the spectrum. And many people do not understand the fundamentals. And I didn't either, to be honest. I'm not, they don't teach you this in pilot school, right? They don't teach you how to run a business. But I realized that these key factors that you need to know, it tied in so nicely with NARPM, because NARPM is showing you how to be the best property management operator. Our business coach was showing us how to be the best business owner. You tie those in together and you get exponential growth, which is what we did, which is why we eventually ended up selling and exiting our business. But a lot of that was due to the combination of both, in my opinion.
So you stuck with both and the coaching from day one until the day that you exited that part of your life.
Correct.
And do you still have, just a side note, do you still have, as a coach, I know therapists have their own therapists and they check in with them. So do you as a coach have a coach that you speak to keep you in line, to inform you, to bounce things off of?
I don't just have one, I actually have three. I am a big believer. Number one, I would be a hypocrite if I was somebody saying to you, you need to be better, you need to get to the next level, you need to do this and that, and I don't do it. So that, number one, that's hypocritical, and I wouldn't really be authentic. That's the first thing. Second thing is you don't know what you don't know. You don't know how to get to the next level. And the biggest challenge why businesses don't grow is because the law of the lid, or the mental restriction of the leader. So if you look at, I'll give you an example. If you look at professional sports, I'll take Michael Jordan. To me, Michael Jordan was probably the best athlete in the history of any sport. However, he practiced 8 hours a day, every single day. And he had at one point, he had 5 coaches. Okay. He had a business coach, he had a free throw coach, he had all these different coaches. And I've got a mutual friend who is good friends with a guy named Tim Grover, who was Michael Jordan's personal coach. And he said, man, that must have been awesome to be Michael Jordan's coach. Like, you probably had the easiest job in the world. This guy's the best on the planet. No. And he said, actually, it was the hardest job I've ever had. He goes, because you've got to take someone who's great and you have to make them greater. And he goes, that's what they expect of you. So my point is that you get a lot of people that say that they're experts and they say that they're professionals, but you're either growing or dying. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. And if you are not doing something today to be better than what you were yesterday, I hate to tell you this, you've made the decision to be worse. That's just how it is, because you are not going to be better, because life is not stagnant. We don't live in a vacuum. And I'm a product of the product. I coach, I get coached because I want to be the best I can be so that I can help people be the best they can be. So, and I'll bring this full circle to you. Yes, in NARPM, we, competition, this and that. However, I will tell you that when I coach a property management company or when I coach a business, my job is to take as much of your business as I can for my client. And I do that by taking market share. So I'm friends with you, we'll have a drink, but when it comes down to business, I'm doing everything I can to make my client the most successful, because that's the fiduciary responsibility that I have. And so there's a difference. And I think it's important to understand that in business, we are friends, but there's also the business aspect that I do everything I can to make my clients win, because that's what they pay me for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And before we go and wrap up this segment, because it's just so fascinating how, again, you weren't someone that went for their real estate agent or broker's license. I mean, you really came about, being part of NARPM a different way than most people. And I agree with you as far as, having coaches and, it's like if you take the same exercise class every day, you're not going to see the results. At one point, it's just going to level off. Yep. And I think I agree with you. The only way to keep leveling up is to have those that you surround yourself with that are going to push you. But you still have to do your own reading and do your own homework. And you have to push yourself. You can't depend on everybody to push you.
Well, it's funny. And again, we don't have to go down this rabbit hole, but right. And again, I am the type of personality I am a very accountable person, and I expect people to be accountable to me. Right. And I tell people all the time, I don't care about your problems. I don't care about your excuses. Nobody cares. You may tell me, hey, Steve, I've had a hard day. I've had this, I've had that. And I'm going to say, oh, I hope you're okay. But the reality at the end of the day, I don't care. You are paying me to do a job and you want to get to the goal. You need to be more committed than I am. And at the end of the day, if you are not doing something, again, use going to the gym, working out. We talked about this in the other videos. I can't make you get up at 4 a.m. to meet me at the gym and to do the weights and to eat the food. You could say, Steve, I want to get in the best shape I could be, but I don't see myself going to the gym over the next year. And I'm going to go, well, I'm not your person. Like I can't, you're not going to ride a unicorn over a rainbow every day and have this world that you think exists. You and I know it doesn't exist. You have to want it more than everyone else. And I think that the reality is look, you've been in business 18 years. You've seen successes and I'm sure you've seen failures. I have as well. And my failures by far have been the reason that I have created a well into 7-figure income because of my failures. It wasn't because of my wins. It was my failures and the lessons that I learned and what I was humble enough to take away from that to actually say, what could I do better next time?
Right. I want to thank you because always speaking with you, I'm always humbled. You just bring a plethora of information to our followers, our audience, and you all need to get to the NARPM Summit, this Prime Summit next Thursday, April 27th in Orlando. We've got X amount of tickets left. DM me. I'm going to get you in for just under $5, less than $100. Where are you going to go for that? You can't even go out for drinks and a dinner for two for that with tips. So you're just going to learn so much from Steve, and he's going to lead the session. He's a keynote speaker. So I want to thank you for being with us today. If you have any questions, I'm going to put on, when we put out this video, we're going to put Steve's information. You're not in real estate. You like my hats, you like my lipstick, whatever it is, get in touch with Steve, make a difference in your life, your loved ones, your friends, your circle, your sphere. Make the changes now. Thanks for being with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. See you at NARPM.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.